Hey, Rick, we had Christie Snapp on today, and this was her second time back. I mean, what was your big thing out of talking to her this time?
I just think she's such a phenomenal agent, but she also just is such a nice person.
Yep.
And she knows what she's doing. You listen to her. She has a plan. She works her plan. She knows how to take care of customers. She knows exactly what to do. She even sends handwritten notes, which is a rarity in this world today.
Yep.
I just think she's one of those people she's a guru for a reason.
Yep.
Because she's really good at what she does and she goes above and beyond.
Yep. Yeah, I think it was phenomenal listening to her process, how she goes through with the buyer or even with the seller and all of her steps. And then, look, if you're looking at buying or selling, you need to listen to this because she'll walk you through her process and how it can benefit you.
Welcome to Indy's Real Estate Gurus, your ultimate guide to the dynamic world of real estate in Indiana. And I'm Rick Ripma, your hardworking mortgage guy, and I've been in real estate and mortgages for over 24 years.
And I'm Ian Arnold, a loan officer on Rick's hardworking mortgage team, and we are both with Advisors Mortgage Group. Together, we'll empower you with expert advice, market trends, and successful stories from guru realtors and local experts.
Whether you're a homeowner, investor, or pro, join us as we navigate the thriving Indy real estate market.
Now get ready to unlock the doors of success, one episode at a time.
Christie Snapp, you're back.
I'm back.
You're back. Thanks so much for joining us again. We appreciate it very much.
Thanks for having me again.
You were a fabulous guest last time, so we're looking really forward to this. Now I remember you grew up in Indiana.
Yes, I grew up in Bloomington, Indiana,
okay,
where IU is. So then when I went to Purdue, a lot of people got mad.
Did they?
But went to Purdue, I just had to get out of my hometown. So
yeah,
grew up in Bloomington, went to Purdue, graduated, and then moved to Indy after that.
Well, there's different degrees too, right? I mean, you go to Purdue for different things than you go to IU for.
Yeah, but I was a communications degree, so
that
you
could have
gone either way. Yeah.
Don't tell people that.
Right.
So you were a communications degree. So if I remember, you did something in communication, which actually has helped you out in real estate too.
Yes. So communications and PR degree. As soon as I graduated, I worked for a very short period of time for a small family-run PR firm here in town. This was back in '08, so economy wasn't great. Got laid off pretty quickly, and then was introduced to a real estate investor here locally, and I did some lead generation, office management, like just a little thing with him, and then got my real estate license while I was working for the investor, and decided I need to go off and be my own boss.
So you've been a real estate agent for around 13 years.
Yes, got my license in 2011.
Okay. But in 2008, you actually started in real estate, just in a little bit different.
Right, exactly. Yeah, just and to back up a little bit, my dad has always owned real estate like rental properties and things. So I kind of grew up around it a little bit, but never thought I would really like dive full force into the real estate industry. And then when I was introduced to the local real estate investor, got a little taste of it, and then decided to get my license.
And so you got your license 13 years ago. So you've done a long time. So what do you like best about real estate? What's your favorite part of the job?
Honestly, and it sounds cheesy, but just helping people. Every time I get a little burnt out, I get a win for a client, and it like reignites me, and with the passion of being in real estate, just helping people, getting their first home or just upsizing or downsizing or whatever it is. And also even just helping them through the process with like hooking them up with other vendors and things like that. Just being kind of an advocate and a guide for all my clients. It's really fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. So in that time, not only have you been in the business for 13 years, now you also have a fairly big team, right?
Yes. So my business partner and I have been together for about 12 years. So I've been with her for a long time, and we've had team members come and go. Currently, we have 4 team members that work with us. So there's a total of 6 of us right now.
All right. And your team is called the
Golden Collective.
Golden Collective.
Yes.
Where'd that come from?
So for the longest time, our team name was the Indie Scene Team. And a couple years ago, we were kind of thinking about rebranding a little bit, getting a new logo done. And I just randomly popped into my head, if we're going to rebrand, why don't we just completely change the name? I felt like the old name was just a little stale and I wanted like a refresh. So we just kind of brainstormed names for a while. My business partner actually was watching TV and the Golden Girls was on and she wanted to like play off of that a little bit. And then I don't know, I didn't want to be team or group. I just wanted something a little bit classier feeling, I guess. So Collective was what we went with. So Golden Collective was born, and now we get to play off that name, and we call ourselves the Golden Girls, and it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And your team is made up of all women.
Yes, we're all women team.
Is that intentional?
A little bit, yeah. It kind of happened that way from the beginning, and we just kind of kept it going, and the energy's like nice and
it matters.
Yeah,
it matters.
Women power, yes.
Yeah, it matters. I mean, I think everybody has to, whatever, because you have to have that camaraderie and you have to have that mesh. You have to get along and everything else. So who's on your team? You're probably fairly picky of who you bring on your team.
Yeah, we're never ever seeking out people. We're always open to talking and seeing if it's a good fit, but we really want someone who's hungry, good work ethic. We are there to guide them and help them through anything they need, but in real estate, you're still your own boss, even if you're on a team, and you got to have that hunger and drive. So that's what we're looking for usually. And also someone who's just a good time and no drama. And because we do hang as a team, as all women, we do hang out a lot outside of work and at work events. Oops, sorry. And so, yeah, that's important.
So, Rick, your next job cannot be there. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I don't know if we're breaking any laws there.
I hate to say it, but I don't think I'd fit in. I'm just guessing I wouldn't fit in.
I'm sure you would. We'll welcome you in.
I'd probably be the tallest one in the group.
100%.
So that wouldn't be all good. So you've been in the business a long time. You love your job, which it's very interesting to me how many agents get into the business kind of somewhat by mistake, maybe.
Yeah.
But then they fall in love with the business.
It is. It's an amazing business.
Yeah.
I mean, what's better, first of all, than working for yourself? You do have to have, some motivation and drive there. But every time I think about any alternative, working a desk job or a 9-to-5, I can't imagine. So that also drives me because I have to succeed in this. I can't imagine doing anything else. So even if there's a little bit of a burnout, it's very easy to get off the burnout and back into
Well, how about your family? You have a husband?
Yep, I have a husband. I have one boy. He's 8, and he is in 2nd grade. And yeah, he's chill like me, and he likes video games. He wants to be a YouTuber. So
does he?
Yeah.
You can get him working for you right away.
I know. I said, let's get your channel started, dude. Yeah.
Well, he can help you get your
I know.
up and running better.
I think that's everybody. I have a 9-year-old.
Okay.
He's the same way. I asked, what do you want to do for as you're thinking longer on? Probably play video games.
I know.
And I'm like, all right, we got to think a little more as a parent. You're thinking that, but then you watch all these guys, how much money they're making. Like,
I know.
Well, maybe you can.
It's a real job. It's crazy. Yeah.
My youngest son went to Carmel High School. He had a really good friend who went to college. At college, he met some guys. They started a tournament. And they ended up
video
selling
games.
It. Yes.
Yeah.
And ended up selling it. And the guy ended up with at 22 years old, $30 million.
No.
Yes.
What? Do you know what video game?
I do not.
I'm so curious.
And then now he just puts on tournaments all over the,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's what you think is you tell your kids, no, but you know what?
It could turn into a real lucrative thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's my dad was a computer programmer, but you got to think about when he was in college, computers are not the biggest things.
Right.
And some people even debated whether they would take off. Well, guess what? He never had an issue getting a job.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird to think about what, like, in 10, 20 years, what's going to be a job that is not a job now. It's so,
Right.
It's crazy to think about.
You got to think AI is going to change.
Yes. AI is crazy.
Yeah.
We've dabbled in Chat GPT and stuff a little bit, but I still have a lot to learn.
Have you found it yet to be helpful for your business?
Yeah, it's helpful. You know, I typically at my team, I'm like the creative one, so I always write all of the property descriptions and help with the marketing. So using that a little bit definitely helps. It makes things faster. I do like to still have my hand in it and like edit whatever it's popping out, you know.
Yeah.
But it is helpful. It's things
time savings.
Yeah. And I learned this the other day from somebody. You can tell ChatGPT to sort of summarize an article or a blog post or something in a way that like is concise that you can then repost on Facebook or whatever. So like consumers, instead of like just posting the link to the article, like it kind of gives a little synopsis. Yeah. So people can kind of digest it a little better.
Yeah. It's all in your prompts.
Yeah.
It's all in how you write those prompts. I don't know if you know this. There's something called Prompt Perfect. If you get on, it's right now, it's currently one of their plugins, but the plugins are going away.
Okay.
Like the middle of this month. So you can get there and then you can, I think I'm a member of that. You know, I pay them a little bit. It's not very much. But before your prompt, you put perfect and then I put a period and then I write my prompt and then it goes and fixes the prompt.
Oh.
To be
better
prompt.
for Chat. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a separate app or it's part of Chat?
It's a separate company, but it's through, you know how ChatGPT has the plugins? Do you know what plugins are?
Yeah, but I haven't played with those.
Oh my gosh, you got to.
I haven't.
Plugins.
I have not explored the plugins. No.
It's they have some phenomenal plugins, but anyway, there are some things you can do with ChatGPT like that, and that one will help you write the accurate, you know, the best prompt. I actually have taken a course on how to write prompts because it's so valuable. You have to write them right.
I know.
To get what you want.
There's a lot of people on Instagram that post tips for the best prompts for real estate, or there's a bunch of people on there also kind of training.
Yeah. And everybody's selling us something. Aren't they? They're all selling us how to do it better.
How-tos.
Yeah.
Digital products.
You know what else you can do? You can ask Prompt GPT exactly what you should write. And it will say, this is the outcome I want. What's my best way to write a prompt? It will tell you how to write it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah. But you're right. You have to check everything.
I know. Yeah. You need it. You don't want it to sound too overly AI. You know, you want it to sound human and like it came from you.
Plus, it also changes. It gives you some information that's not always 100% accurate.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it's just a machine. You know, we kind of give it like it's intelligent. It isn't intelligent. It just goes and looks it up and makes mistakes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So I guess it is kind of human.
Yeah. Well, there's that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're using ChatGPT, and I see you on social media all the time. So, like, what's your objective in social media? What are you trying to accomplish?
Well, I think of and use social media. It's a free advertising and marketing platform. So why would you not use it? More recently, I've been trying to really educate on it in a way that like also captures the audience and makes them want to follow me and all that stuff. So I just sort of use it as like a way to brand myself, do personal branding, and we have, of course, team pages as well that we use it for. So just educating people, and hopefully they see the value that we provide and want to reach out when they're ready to buy and sell.
So what social media sites do you use the most?
Instagram is my go-to. We are on Facebook as well, but I sort of fell off of that a little bit and should probably spend some time over there too. But Instagram makes it easy. They just push everything that we're posting over there onto our Facebook pages. So that makes it easy. I'm starting to dabble with TikTok as well. So I'm starting to post more on there. But if I would say if you could find like one or two to focus on and get really good at, is because otherwise it's just too overwhelming. There's just too many to focus on. So yeah.
And do you just post real estate stuff, or do you post other things?
I try and mix it up. You know, people want to see your personality and see, you know, what you're doing outside of work, so they can kind of relate to you and see if they can actually look at your social media and see, okay, I could vibe with that. I could, like, she knows what she's doing, but she's also like fun. I could hang out with her for, you spend a lot of time with your clients up until closing. So it allows people to, relate to you and see if it's a good fit potentially.
Yeah. Now here you had one post that went viral.
Yeah. So it's really funny because I posted, and it had nothing to do with real estate, of course. My son went to a birthday party, and it was at a gym, like with gymnast gym, and I was a gymnast in high school. So I did a little move on the bar, and I put the caption was something like, when your kid has a birthday party at a gym and you were a gymnast 20 years ago, you have to give it a try again and remind yourself how old you are. So many past gymnasts that are out there that I had no idea related to that. And it has, I think at this moment, has 9.6 million views. Which is insane. So that reel went a little crazy.
I wonder if there's something to that. Maybe we shouldn't be posting all about work all the time. We should post some of this other stuff.
People want to see your personality a little bit and see who you are. That's how you connect with people.
So I got to ask, have you decided to get back out there and do one more video like that?
I should. I can't think of anything else. I could do some more gymnastics, I guess. But yeah, I definitely need to mix it up.
And just so you know, I see the fail ones work out too. So if you fall, just have your son just hit post.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Yeah, those are the most funny.
I don't think you have to tell her son to put.
No, probably not.
No.
Everybody in that gym would be putting that.
Oh yes, yeah. I probably wouldn't push myself too far because I would really hurt myself. 20 years ago was a long time when I was doing gymnastics. So
it's amazing. How much you could do back then and how.
I know. Yeah. That's what on the reel, all the comments are like, oh my God, me too. I tried that when my kid was at the gym and I almost broke my hip, yeah, it's funny.
So if somebody wants to get a hold of you because they want to see this gymnast video, what's the best way? Or maybe they want some real estate help.
Yeah. So my Instagram handle is at Snapp Sells Real Estate. Snapp is my last name with 2 P's. Or my phone number, 317-902-2989. You can always call or text me there. Or email christie.snapp@gmail.com.
Okay. Now, Ian always says I'm getting old. Now, I can't remember that phone number. What was that?
317-902-2989.
It's not surprising I can't remember. I have trouble remembering my own phone number.
Yeah. I blanked the other day. Someone needed my husband's phone number, and I started rambling it off, and then the last 4 digits, I was like, wait a minute. I had to pull out my phone.
Isn't that terrible?
Yeah, it's so bad.
But we don't call anybody. We just hit a button
and it
calls them. So it's that's my
memory
excuse.
saving. Yes. My brain's used for other things.
Yeah, I use my memory in my phone, not in my head, right?
Yeah.
We got too much other. And to get a hold of Ian or I, go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com, or you can give us a call at 317-672-1938. That's 317-672-1938.
All right. And so before we get into a lot more questions, let's have a fun question.
Oh, gosh.
So,
okay.
Indiana, we have tons of restaurants. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite restaurant to go eat at?
Okay. I have a very favorite lunch spot. It's in Broad Ripple, Northside Kitchenette. That's around the corner from my office. My team and I go there all the time. So that's my absolute favorite lunch spot. But I have another sort of hidden gem. If you like Vietnamese food at all, like banh mi sandwiches and a bunch of other things, chow. It's Vietnamese street food, and it's on 96th Street in a strip mall, like 96 in Binford or 69, across the street from the Meijer up there. There's a little place called Chow. So shout out to them. They have delicious food.
The food in Broad Ripple, what is it?
Oh, the kitchenette?
Yeah.
It's like soup, sandwich, salad, breakfast burritos. It's like a traditional little lunch spot. So, and they have breakfast all day as well.
So if you're not in your office, you're there.
Yes. Yeah. You can find me there most of the time.
Broad Ripple it's just such a quaint little town. There's a lot of cool little places to go.
Yep, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's some construction going on right now, so I know a lot of the businesses are hurting there with all this construction, like blocking streets and stuff.
Really?
So if you can make it to Broad Ripple, go eat somewhere there.
My dad so my parents live in Broad Ripple.
Oh, they do?
So he was researching, and he was like, and then he was telling me about the history of Broad Ripple is very interesting. How it used to be like a big carnival area and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like if you go to Broad Ripple Park, you can see where the stone to hold the merry-go-round and all this other stuff, it's still there.
Yeah.
And people just don't understand what it used to be.
Yeah. The park there hosted, the big carnival. There, if you Google it, the pictures are crazy.
Yep.
Like old school carnival style.
And it's still a carnival.
Yes.
Especially with traffic.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into how you actually do business. So let's say little Timmy comes to you and he's looking to buy a home. What is your process after he's already been pre-approved through Rick and I? So you know the approval is golden.
Yep.
So what's your process on showing houses and stuff?
So I like to, first of all, have just a consult with the buyer, whether that's we meet up or on the phone or a Zoom, whatever the client is comfortable with and wants to do. I like to just have a conversation, get to know them and really what their goals are, to know what their situation is currently and where they're trying to go. And then, of course, the details of what are you looking for in a home, your must-have list, your deal breaker list. And then once we have all of that kind of nailed down, I help them search for that home, of course. Everything's online these days. We get our auto search set up with the MLS, and then I'm on the MLS every single day, seeing what new is coming up that might be interesting to the client. And then in this day, you have to move fast. So it's really just a text me as soon as something pops up that you want to see, or I will text them like, hey, we need to go see this. And then we try and get them in for a showing as soon as possible to get their foot in the door before all the other buyers out there are going to see it. So, and then we just go from there. So
when somebody is interested, and especially in this market because they're selling so fast, and you're always on the system looking at, I never remember what it's called. MLS still? It's the MLS. Ours is the BLC. Yeah, BLC.
Yeah, right. That's our local.
Yeah, the BLC. Like, so, and you see something. Now you have an idea of what they want, so you send it to them. As they go look at houses, does what they want change many times, or is it? Sometimes. I would say the core of what they want is the same, but sometimes it'll be like they'll be willing to give on something that they thought that they had to have. So that sometimes happens. And with the lower inventory that we see, so that a lot of times that's necessary. So, and every situation's different. I ask the questions like, how long are you staying here? What's your goal with this house? Is this like a starter home or is this your forever home? Because that can change your decisions too, right? So if you can give a little on something, if it's just sort of a starter home, hey, you're not going to be here forever. Like maybe compromise on some things. So sometimes that is needed. Yeah.
And so it's just like the TV. You show 3 houses and sell that one, right?
Yes, exactly. The Cape Cod, the ranch, the mansion. Which one do you want?
The reason I mention that, especially like first-time home buyers, they may not understand that you might look at 10 or 12 homes before you even find ones that you actually do like.
Yeah. It's funny because sometimes the opposite happens and they fall in love with like the first 1 or 2 and they don't want to move on it because they feel like they need to see a bunch before they can make a decision. And sometimes that's the case. Like if they really are not 100% sure, we'll go see a few more first to really make sure it's what they want. But in this market, if you do that, that first home most likely is not going to be available in a week or 2. So, yeah, sometimes the opposite happens, but there's no like right or wrong answer as to how many houses you have to see as a buyer. But that is that's a question a lot of buyers ask. Like, what's the average amount? Like, how many houses should we be looking at? So, and I don't really know what the average is right now with the inventory. But it's lower. Yeah, with the inventory, I bet it is lower. So,
I think you have to listen to your gut You know, I would have trouble making an offer on the very first house I walked in.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you've done it's different today than it used to be, because I can do a ton of research and pretty much know what I want before I ever go out. So I could walk into the first house and go, yeah, this is exactly what I want.
Yeah.
My son he's in Chicago. He just bought a house in Chicago and bought the first house they looked at. It's their second house. But, you know, they knew what they wanted. They knew where they wanted to be, and it was the perfect house for them.
Yeah. Yeah. You do have to listen to your gut, and it's a feeling sometimes.
Yeah.
So just listen to that. Don't like get discouraged if you think like, well, I can't make an offer on this. We've only seen one, you know.
Well, with the market like it is, you know, we keep hearing the news media out there telling us, you know, the doom and gloom of everything when we're all seeing something completely different. What are you seeing in we know they're selling fast. What are you seeing in price? Are we seeing increases, decreases? What are we seeing?
Yeah, they're still steadily increasing through COVID when interest rates were below 3%. The rate at which homes were like appreciating was crazy, you know, over 10% year over year. And now I think it's like evened out a little bit. It's still high though. And at the end of the day, the longer you hold on to a piece of property, it's going to grow in equity and value. So we're currently right now in our market, the prices are steady and still rising. And it's funny, I talk to people who move here from out of town, and the prices here compared to other bigger cities are like way lower. So you can get your money goes way farther here in Indiana, I would say. So it's a perspective thing, right? You know.
Yeah, that was one thing we saw a lot of, especially during COVID and when people could work remote.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, wait, I can work from home? Let me move closer to mom and dad.
Exactly.
Because we got kids now. I mean, you saw people move from California or New York or anywhere, and they were like, wait, I can buy this?
I know.
Wait, well, hold on. What's the catch?
Yeah.
You're like, there is no catch.
Right. So while prices are on the higher side and they're rising, you know, year over year, comparatively, the prices are still really good here in our local market, in my opinion.
Yeah, when you talk to anybody out of state, you kind of run into that. It's very rare to have somebody come in and go, oh, you guys are a lot more expensive than we are at home.
Exactly.
We're not. So what's your golden rule when it comes to negotiating? Do you have a golden rule for that?
I do, and it's really simple, and it's just to be a nice person. Honestly, you want to cooperate with the other agent. You're not trying to win. So being a nice person, I have found, and just being cooperative gets me more when I ask for something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's my internal sort of golden rule. Just be helpful, be cooperative, and when you know you have to give a little to get, but if you're nice about it, they're going to give as well. So that's what I've found.
Yeah. That goes for everything in life.
Yeah,
almost,
right?
Doesn't it?
Yes.
If you can get on the phone and you can yell and scream and holler, and some people think that's what gets them everything they need. But I know for me, if somebody does that with me, it's just like I shut down.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm not going to worry about what you say because there's nothing I can do.
Yeah, you just put a wall up.
Yeah.
So you can be a strong negotiator.
Yes.
Without being like mean and aggressive, you know. So, and that's just my style. I'm laid back, but I'm going to get it done for my clients at the same time, you know.
I mean, which is smart because, I mean, if you're, let's say, bullish at the start, I mean, you're be dealing with the same people roughly for 30 days.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your people are gonna get angry at each other then, but if you're kind, nice, and respectful, things move a lot smoother. Like you were saying.
Exactly, and that starts honestly before the negotiation even starts. Because if I have a client looking at a house and I need some information, I'm like reaching out to the listing agent and I'm asking them for things like so my clients can make a decision. So you got to like start that from the beginning. And on the flip side, if I have a listing and a buyer's agent's asking me for information, I'm like on top of it. I'm like, yes, here, because I want to make friends with this agent. I want to make a deal. So just being, again, helpful and cooperative and nice from the start, the deal's going to go so much smoother for you and your clients.
Yeah. So you mentioned being on the listing side. So let's talk about that. Say little Timmy has his home. Now he's wanting to upgrade.
Timmy gets around.
I know.
Yeah, he does.
Who is this Timmy?
Hey, you want him as a client. I'm telling you this.
Okay, yes. I'll take it.
It's not how he names his kids.
I guess, yeah.
Not Timmy.
No. But,
Anyway, Timmy wants to sell.
Hey, but everybody likes little Timmy.
Okay.
All right. So Timmy wants to sell his home. So what do you do? I mean, how do you go about listing it? How do you go about, do you stage it? All that stuff. So go into how you do your process.
So same as with buyers, I start with an initial consultation, and there's a little bit more prep that is needed for a listing consultation than a buyer. So I go in with, so when I say I go in, I schedule a time to go meet with the seller at their home so I can get my eyes on their house and see what the current condition is. And then we have that whole conversation, like, what are your goals? What is the current situation that is needing to happen? And then we prep with the comps. We do a deep dive into the neighborhood, what the sales are right now in the neighborhood. We go through our seller guide, which is very detailed, what needs to happen from step one to closing. So we outline that for the client. As far as prepping it for sale, which I think is very important, and some people kind of rush a lot. And it depends on what the current situation of the house is. Sometimes we walk in and it's ready for pictures already. Sometimes it needs a lot of decluttering and they need help a little bit with staging. If it's vacant, we pay for virtual staging, which I think has helped us a lot with, because everything's online, marketing online and social media and all that stuff. So the pictures being virtually staged is helpful.
So let me ask that. So virtual, just so somebody's listening, virtual staging is technically they're not putting anything in there, right?
Correct. So you could either pay for a stager to physically move stuff into the home, and this, of course, is if the home is vacant, or virtual staging. We get professional photos done, and then we send it into a company that virtually puts furniture and stages it to look like a model home, pretty much. So, and then they send those pictures back. So then we can use those pictures in our marketing without having to have physical stuff moved in and then moved back out. So it saves a lot of time. It is less expensive, and it looks just as good. Obviously, we disclose, hey, these are virtually staged, so people aren't surprised when they walk into a vacant home. And we like to print the pictures and have the virtual staged pictures in the home.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So as people are walking through, it's vacant, but they can still see the picture there, like, oh, this is what it might look like once we get furniture in here. So that's one thing that we do is the virtual staging. We do open houses for every home if the client allows us to. And with that, we always invite all of the neighbors, the closest by neighbors. We actually hand deliver a folder with an invitation, information about the listing. Hey, please come walk through it. If you know anyone who wants to be in this neighborhood, please share it with them. So just as much exposure as we can get for the home, right? So we always do an open house. Yeah, that's the gist of.
So let me ask this, because we're used to, like, Rick and I came from the car industry. So everybody, when they trade their car in, it thinks their car is worth $100,000 and it's worth $2,000.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's be honest. So do you have to combat that? Do people just think the same way for homes, or?
Sometimes it depends on the situation, the house, and the buyer or the seller. But we do a deep dive into the sales in that neighborhood or nearby, or if we can't find anything that's close by, we will go out a little bit farther from the radius of the home. And we just try and find similar homes, as similar as possible homes, and see what they sold for. And then we look at that price and compare, okay, they got this price, but they had an extra bedroom. So we need to adjust the price a little bit. So we really look at it like through an appraiser's eyes a little bit. I don't know exactly how the appraisers value things per se, but I have a good general idea. So I look at it through appraiser's eyes when I'm looking at comparable sales, and I can really do a deep dive with the client. And so they can see, and I show them the pictures of that sale down the road. So they can see visually like what their home is compared to the other sales. So when you do that, you are justifying the price that you're suggesting. So a lot of times the seller understands and agrees with the prices we're giving them.
Yeah, because pricing is incredibly important.
Yeah.
You can price it too low or you can price it too high.
Yeah.
And both those things are bad.
Exactly. Yeah. We try and price it right on the nose as far as market value as best we can. I never want to price it too high. Sometimes if you price it slightly under the house down the street, then you can encourage, multiple offers and a bidding war, which we are starting to see again, by the way.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I just...
Good for sellers, not good for...
Good for sellers. I actually just got a house for a buyer this past weekend in multiple offer situations. So, the multiple offers were coming back. I haven't seen, it's not been as aggressive as like a couple years ago. So I'm not yet seeing like crazy over asking. But you are going to probably have to pay over asking.
And that's okay to a point. But my whole thing was the waiving of inspections.
I know. That's hard to compete with, but I never let my clients waive inspections.
Hold on. All right. So Rick and I say this all the time, but let's get your point. Why would you never let somebody waive it?
Well, because you can offer certain things that make the seller feel better while still protecting your client. A lot of times we'll do either an as-is offer, which that scares some buyers, but when you really look at the as-is addendum, how it's written, it really protects the buyer. So they can still get all of the inspections done that they want and do their due diligence. But the as-is addendum basically just says, hey, we're not going to ask the seller for any repairs. We just want to get inspections done to make sure there's no major issues. And just for our own knowledge, we want to know the condition of the house before we buy it. And the buyer can walk away within that due diligence time frame for any reason. So the way the as-is addendum is written, they can walk away because they changed their mind or for a leaky faucet or whatever. If you don't have that addendum, you have to give the seller a chance to make repairs. So if something major comes up and your client is like, hold on, I don't want this house, and gets cold feet, well, too bad. You still have to give the seller a chance to repair the items that come up on the inspection. So there's different ways to do it without waiving your inspection that can still win you the offer with the sellers.
Yeah, because you never know. I've had people who've told me, hey, Rick, this is going to be fine. We're going to have an inspection, but this house is so beautiful. There's no way there's anything wrong with it.
Exactly.
And then the inspection comes back, and they're like, we got to get out of this. There's major issues with the house that were hidden. Mm-hmm. So you always, in my opinion, that's why you have to make sure you do that.
Yeah. You want to get them no matter what.
Yeah.
And you want, if someone doesn't want to do an as-is, like let's say a buyer, they do want the chance to negotiate inspection items with the seller. We can write stuff in like, I call them inspection limitations. So, hey, we're going to get an inspection done, but we're not going to nitpick you on all the little like BS items. We just want to see if there's anything major and be able to negotiate on those major issues. So I'll put a cap on the dollar amount for the inspection items that my clients will negotiate. So then the seller reads that and thinks, okay, like I'm most likely not going to have to deal with inspection items unless something major comes up. So there's, like I said, multiple ways to kind of negotiate that.
And when you said cap, you mean low cap. So we aren't going to, anything under whatever dollar amount, we're not going to ask for. But over that, we can ask for that.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And which I think it's smart because we do a lot of first-time home buyers, and I was one of them, as everybody else was. And you don't, if you don't know the market or know what to do, you just don't understand it. And
right.
So I got one for my home inspection, and I'm like looking at them, like, man, there's quite a bit on here. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it was like little stuff. And my realtor then sat down with me, and we walked through it. And the only big thing is, and we already knew prior, was we didn't do windows, but we already knew that. And my realtor luckily pointed it out to us. But yeah, I mean, I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, this house needs a lot of work.
It is scary because those reports are very detailed for a reason. So just for your knowledge, though, you know, you don't want to nitpick and ask the seller to fix every tiny little thing that comes up on the inspection. So I tell my clients, just focus on the important big ticket items that really need attention now. And we can work it out with the seller most of the time.
All right. So little Timmy bought a house from you and he's been phenomenal. So let's do that. What do you do? Do you try to keep in touch with Timmy after the sale?
Of course.
I know during the 30 days or 90 days, whatever time frame, you guys are like best friends. What happens after that?
Yeah, of course. I have my business plan consists of like our touches. So we have 5 touches that we do every month to our Sphere clients, friends and family, which includes, you know, a monthly e-newsletter. I send out a magazine that has recipes and fun things in it, and other things like that, invites to client events. And then we do 2 or 3 bigger client events that we invite all of our past clients to. So those are really fun. We get to like touch base again. And then every day I send out 2 handwritten note cards to people. A lot of times they're like birthday, anniversary cards, or just a, hey, was just thinking about you kind of thing. So I'm constantly just reaching out to past clients and my sphere in general, just to touch base, see how people are doing. So that is, I think, for the long haul, how you're going to get business. So always being in touch and top of mind. So then, and it's not like I'm reaching out, hey, how's your house? Or, hey, do you need to buy? It's like, hey, how was your weekend? You know, it's like more personal things. So just maintaining a relationship over the years, and then, you know, down the road when they need to buy or sell, hopefully they think of me.
Yeah. They know who you are, so you don't have to tell them.
Exactly.
You know,
yeah.
I always get irritated. I think some of that's okay, but everything, somebody sends you a happy birthday and then they've got all their sales information in there. They weren't wishing you a happy birthday.
Right. They were wanting a sale.
They were wanting a sale.
Right. Yeah. No. And I never put my business card in those things. No. Yeah. And then there are real estate things too that are valuable that I reach out about. I try and do some like real estate reviews. So a year after a client buys a house, send a little like, hey, here's what happened in your neighborhood in the past year, just so you know. And it's not to like, hey, if you're going to sell, reach out to me. It's purely information about the market that they might find valuable. And then I include like a little, like, here's how to use this information. Like, make sure you have enough coverage, you know, for your house. Reach out to your insurance agent. So just being a resource, and again, back to the just being helpful. It's really pretty simple when you think about it.
And that's a smart email, especially, or text message or call to say, hey, you might want to check, make sure your coverage amounts, because what's happened over the last 4 or 5 years with your home price?
Yeah. Everything's shot up. Yeah.
So guess what? Everything else. So if you had to get a repair, that's a brilliant way to at least touch base right now, especially.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, insurance has also shot up.
That too.
Yeah.
It has really gone up. I hear some, not our area, fortunately, isn't this bad, but I talked to some people like Florida. I was talking to an agent in Florida, and they're like, these condos can't even get insurance.
I know. I've heard that. Condos are not getting, like, insurance companies are just not offering insurance down there right now in some areas. It's crazy.
It's a real struggle for them. We don't have that problem, fortunately.
Right.
But, insurance has just been, I guess, hammered with claims, so they're being very, very, very picky. It just makes it too bad. It just makes it hard. So, what's your secret sauce for standing out in the crowd?
Secret sauce.
Secret.
Honestly, being authentically yourself, I think, is the best thing you can do, and really pay attention to your personal brand. You have your brokerage, and they have a brand, and you can piggyback off of that a little bit. But people, at the end of the day, don't care about that necessarily. They, like, again, back to the Instagram and the showing your personality and who you are and how you can help people and just providing value for them, I think is the best thing you can do. especially when there's, I think, 10,000 realtors in our board right now. There's a lot of realtors. Now, I think 20% of those realtors do 80% of the transactions. But yeah, I think just being yourself and showing your personality is what will help you stand out, because not everybody is going to be a good fit for me, but I'm going to be a good fit or a better fit for a lot of people that maybe another realtor wouldn't jive with. So I think just showing who you are is...
So let me ask you this, because you have a young kid like I do. You have an 8-year-old, and you've been in the business for 13 years. Mm-hmm. So how do you actually keep a work-life balance with that?
Oh my gosh, that's the question, right? Well, so I try my best for my business and for my personal life to time block. So I try and make a conscious effort to put the phone down and spend a period of time with my son after school or whatever it is. So just being conscious of it, because otherwise, you know, we come home and he likes to chill after school and like watch some videos and play some video games and just relax for a bit. So he can do his own thing, and I get caught up like getting on my computer or posting on Instagram. Like, so I can get caught back into the work stuff even when I'm at home. So I have to be conscious of like, okay, I need to set a time, put this down for a second, go spend some time with him. So yeah, you just have to be aware of really how you're spending your time when you're at home. Because as a real estate agent, and especially since I have a nice home office, like I can get like rolled into the work even when I'm at home. So it is hard, but just being aware of how you're spending your time, I think.
Yeah, it's very easy to start working and hours go by. Just like a video game. It's easy to get on a video game and hours go by. So I don't get on video games anymore.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of getting into video games because that's how my son likes to spend his time. So we'll I'll offer to play video games with him. So it's funny. The whole video game world, it's even for 8-year-old, for like the little kids, they like know how to do all this stuff. I'm like, oh, I'll try and keep up.
Yeah. I mean, they are bred into technology.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're growing up with it.
My son in 2nd grade already had a laptop for school. I go, and like we would not even think it. My parents are like, they were over for the weekend. They're like, have they learned cursive writing? I'm like, they don't teach cursive. They teach typing now. I go, that's what it's about.
I know.
Mean, you're not going to write cursive anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. Isn't that bizarre? And side note, the way they teach math.
Oh, it's crazy.
Is so different from how I learned math. Like he's in 2nd grade and I can barely like do what he's doing. Like, I don't know how they're teaching it. Like, I just pull out the calculator.
All right. So, we'd like to thank you for being on again.
Thank you for having me. Always fun.
But there is one thing we need to do here for.
Oh, gosh, what?
I need some people to get in touch with you. How can they get a hold of you?
Mm-hmm. So you can reach out to me on Instagram at Snapp Sells Real Estate, Snapp with 2 P's. Just shoot me a DM. I actually have been getting clients from there a little bit more recently. Or you can call or text me. 317-902-2989 is my cell phone. Or email christie.snapp@gmail.com.
And to get a hold of Ian or I, go to hardworkingmortgageguys.com. That's hardworkingmortgageguys.com. Or you can give us a call at 317-672-1938. It's 317-672-1938. And please follow us for more Indy's Real Estate Gurus.
And reminder, if you have any friends, family, coworkers looking to buy, sell, refinance, let us know. We're more than happy to help you. Christie, again, thank you for being on the show. And
of course.
We want you back on, but this time you got to do another gymnastics thing.
Okay.
And
I'll have to plan another reel. Hopefully it goes viral again.
Which machine do you use? Maybe we'll just bring one in. And
the uneven bars. You need to set that up. Set that up right here.
Yeah, that would not.
Lots of mats. I need lots of mats.
We can do it in the parking lot.
There you go.
Oh, my God.
But market that.
Yes.
Don't invite people to watch.
Oh, no. There will be people. We're downtown
Carmel.
Carmel. There will be people.
Facebook Live next time.
Oh, gosh.
Thank you, Christie.
Thank you, guys.
Branch NMLS number 33041. Rick Ripma's NMLS number 664589. Arnold NMLS number is 1995469. Equal housing opportunity. Some restrictions apply.